All right, so guys, get this. After this scary hit from Matt Dumba on Joe Pavelski, Max Domi actually ended up with more penalty minutes on the plate than Dumba did. Midway through the second period, Pavelski shovels a shot into the net in the corner. Before he knows it, he's laying flat on the ice. Just a moment after the shot hits Gustafsson's pad, Dumba slides in and hits Pavelski, sending his head directly to the ice. It's a difficult play to watch as Pavelski appeared to be unconscious and wobbled on his way to the Stars' dressing room, and he did not return to the game. As for Dumba, after initially receiving a 5-minute major, the play was actually reviewed and changed to 2 minutes for roughing, while Max Domi, he received a 10-minute misconduct and 2 minutes for roughing for his reaction to the hit. That left the two teams to resume play at 4-on-4. With that, I gotta ask, should Dumba have received the game misconduct as well, and you think he's gonna get suspended for that hit?
He's definitely not getting suspended. Like it got somehow reviewed and dropped to a minor. And the worst part about it is watching it back, the referee analysts they brought in and the commentators all admit that it's a late play, and the ref analyst is like, there are two options: game misconduct or match penalty.
If they deem the hit was late, there's a possibility of 5 in game for interference, which caused injury, or a different camera angle could show if there was head contact. I couldn't quite tell from that interview whether there was head contact or not, but those are two options right there.
I can't imagine that this isn't 5 minutes. Just because of the lateness of the hit, that's just my thought on it.
Then they review it, drop it, and yeah, that's the correct call. What?
Play it in real speed. Is it that late? There goes the puck. There's the hit. We're watching that in slow motion. If you see that in real speed, maybe it's not that late. There was no head contact you could see, and I said they'd see many angles on it. Turns out it was the stick came across, probably did most of the damage, but I really like the fact they talked about it, got together, discussed it, went with the 5, got to look at it, got to dissect it, and came down with the right call.
So why do you think they changed their mind then?
Because the call changed.
Yeah, I think that's why, and they're just like defending the refs.
George Peros and the whole Department of Player Safety has shown quite a bit in his tenure that, like, they're not looking to lay the book?
Throw the book.
Throw the book, yeah.
Lay the hammer.
They're not looking to throw the book at somebody. They really don't hit people with really major suspensions, especially for hits. So I agree. I don't think he'll get suspended, but I do think it's a bit of a joke that they ended up even strength on that. That's embarrassing.
You guys were going over like the play-by-play of it, because I mean they were obviously arguing like the point of contact, whether he hit his head, whether it hits the stick, and you saw in the slow-mo, right?
I think people honed in too much. So we'll show you this one angle where basically Hartman kind of covers up the play and you can't really see it. Makes it really look like a shoulder-to-shoulder hit, which I get why people are like, clean hit, shoulder-to-shoulder. Still, even with that, it's such a late hit that it's interference and he gets hurt. You can give misconduct for that, and that's totally normal on a play where there's an injury on a penalty,
and it's at the discretion of the ref as far as the violence goes. But clearly Matt Dumba has one thing on his mind in that situation, and that's hitting Joe Pavelski. It doesn't matter where he has the puck, when he gets rid of it, he is loading up for a hit on him, does not care about the puck. And I get it, like, people play the body. That's not playing the body. That's kind of predatory and violent in my mind, and that's gotta be a game misconduct.
Not just finishing a hit to you.
Well, that's not finishing a hit to me. And that's what all, like, Subban and all of them were talking about. That's finishing a hit. That is not finishing a hit.
We went back and looked at these other angles, and I think you can pretty clearly see, if you slow it down frame by frame, which we'll do for you here, you see he's coming through, no part of the rest of his body moves, and then all of a sudden his helmet pops up and his head snaps back. And to me, like, that's a hit to the head. He's coming up through his head. It's even a little bit of a blind side in terms of, because Pavelski's passed the puck along, which people are going to be critical of, especially people who love the old game, don't watch your pass, all that stuff. But it's a different game. For that to happen to a guy that's so well respected around the league, and like, it's not like this guy doesn't know what goes on in the NHL, and I guarantee you Joe Pavelski's not going to come back from any injury after that and go, clean play.
Regardless of whether it gets ruled as suspension or not, like, you hate seeing that in the fact that, he's injured, had to leave, and like, it's scary regardless of whatever your take is on, again, whether or not it should be a penalty or not. Like, I'm sure you just would have rather have not seen that at all. Also, I know you can still hear me. Why not subscribe to the channel? And on top of that, like the video. If you like seeing more of these playoff reactions that we got going that are a little bit more quick-paced than the podcast, hit a like.